Hi, everybody. This is Staying Positive and Moving Forward. I have a guest, Steve. Steve, do you give permission for this to be videotaped?
Yes.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about relationships. So, Steve, tell us what you think about things going on when people are in relationships. What should be the first thing you think about in a relationship?
Um, the first thing, or say the first thing you're supposed to be in a relationship, how to explain it? It's hard to explain.
Take your time.
The first thing is supposed to be in a relationship, like each other person supposed to like each other and supposed to treat them right. And it's like do stuff together, say buy stuff for each other and all that.
All right, that's a good start. Do you ever feel like in a relationship it should be equal, or should it be about what one person only wants?
It's supposed to be equal.
So, do you feel like it's right that if a person just wants to be in a relationship to be used?
No, it's not right.
Do you think it's right for people to take their time?
Out there. Like take time
Like, if you just met a stranger, would you go ahead and date them right away?
oh no, if you met like a stranger, I think you go on a couple of dates, see each other
You get
more.
to know each other, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like I said, if you've known somebody for years and you guys were friends and clicked, do you think that is right, or do you think they should still take their time and get to know each other more?
I would say take their time to get each other more.
Okay. I think that's very right because and I think a lot of people in the world like rush into things not knowing what the other person wants from it. Do you ever
Yeah, I say that's true.
do you ever feel like people are yes people?
Some people are not all people, but some they are.
Do you think it's right if someone just says yes all the time but doesn't listen to you and then they tell you, "Oh, I didn't say that."
Yeah, that's not right.
And then what do you think about independence? Like, do you think it matters if someone's fully independent if you still love each other?
I'll say what matters. Like it doesn't matter because some people are not out there independent. So like for me, I'm independent, but I still live in a group home. But like that doesn't matter. Like if somebody like each other, they should not see that. They should see like, oh, he's a nice person, or doesn't care if that person lives in a group home. They should not look at that way.
Exactly. Like, I think a person, and you can stop me if I'm wrong, but I think a person should love each other for who they are. It doesn't matter if they're big, it doesn't matter if they're skinny, it doesn't matter if they're cute. Have you ever heard of the ugliest can be the most dangerous?
Yes, I heard that before,
And then sometimes the prettiest can be the most dangerous. So it shouldn't
and
matter
that's
what people look like. And I think a lot of men or women, I'm not saying just men, go with people that are cute and they look at the body instead of learning what the person is inside.
true right there. That's true.
Right? And you know another thing, I think a lot of people will rush into things like crazy. Like, like if you want to get married, you have to make sure if you say yes to someone, you're not just saying it under pressure. You have to make sure that's what you want.
And that's true. That is definitely true. Like my family says the same thing. Like that's what's supposed to be happening.
Exactly. Do you give each other space? Yes. You don't have to be with each other 24/7. That would drive somebody nuts.
And that's am I lying? That's true. It will drive somebody nuts.
But I also think if one person puts all the work into it and the other doesn't, I think that's. Have you ever heard of a codependency relationship?
I heard it from certain people, not a lot.
It means one person wants everything, but the other person doesn't put any work into it.
Oh yeah, actually, I did hear about that. Even.
And it's a very big thing that I think a lot of people have been stuck in, as I say.
I'll put it this way: I wasn't one. I'm not lying. I was stuck in one. I was.
Yeah, and it probably hurts you too that you put all the work into it and that person did not, right?
I'll put it this way: it hurt me, and I'm gonna say the last couple of days and the last couple of weeks, I was like, still am a little bit, but I'm still like depressed and sad.
I can know how you feel, definitely. Like I said, I got out of something too with that. And, one thing I've learned, and this is why I love staying positive moving forward, you have to stay positive, move forward. There's always plenty of fish, plenty of friends, and plenty of people out there.
And like I always say, there's a lot of fish in this. There's a lot of fish in the sea.
Yes, there's a lot of fish in the sea, you know? Like, what would you like in a relationship?
I put it this way: I'm looking for like, say, a nice person who will treat me right and do the same things I do for her, and she should do for me.
Do you feel like you want someone you can spend more time together, not like see every month, just once a month?
Yes, I want to see a person I will see more.
Yeah. Do you feel like if a person sees each other once a month, do you feel like that's more like of acquaintance than a relationship?
Yes,
Yeah. So you do agree with that? Like if somebody can't make time and see you, then that's not what they're doing and they're not keeping their word.
I like definitely. You're right about that. Yes.
What about dating online? Like when somebody says they date someone in far away and they say that we're going to get together someday and all you do is talk online. Would you call that a relationship or a friendship?
I would not call that a relationship. I would say friendship.
Right? Because if you can't be near the person, hug, get to know them, and see them in face, then I call it an internet friendship.
I see that too. Like I do see that.
Right. And a lot of people, I think, are into that. Like, you find a person online and you date and get to meet them, that's great. But if all you're going to do is talk online for years and you're never going to meet, that's not a real relationship.
It's I'm gonna say it's not because I used to do that a long time ago. So definitely not.
Yeah, because, like, how is that, like, you're getting to do anything together? Like, you take pictures online like we're doing right now, and that's it. That's not, I don't think that's really a friendship either, honestly.
It's really not.
Right? Because if you don't get to hang out with a person or do something, it's like an acquaintance, like you're talking to a picture.
Yeah, I'm like that's definitely true. You're talking to a picture.
Pretty much. Like, you don't have time with the person or you don't see them and stuff. Do you feel like they should both put in the same amount of effort?
Yes, they should.
Do you think someone should just say, I'm going to marry you to make you happy, but then they decide down the line when you have everything prepared and then they butt it out on you that they aren't ready?
That I'll say in my eye, that's not right. That's rude and not definitely right.
No. And you should know like what you both want. I think when somebody starts talking, I think you should, and a lot of people have quoted me on this that they like it. I made a video. So I made a video of what I like, or I write down all the things that I think a person should know what they want. So the other person knows right away, or as they get to know each other, if they can accommodate that.
I say what you're saying is definitely right. We should.
Yeah, like, for instance, do I want to date a crazy sports guy? No. But other girls out there might like it. So, that's great. But if I start dating a guy and suddenly he's watches TV and does nothing but that and stuff like that with sports, and he never warned me of that, then how am I supposed to know that's the kind of person he is?
That person should tell like should tell you like what he likes, and like he likes to watch a lot of sports. Like that person should tell you the first time.
Right, exactly. And I just feel like a lot of people out there, they go for, like, because they're so lonely, and I can quote, I'm one of them, that they go right for it and stuff like that, but they don't think about the consequences. Like, a lot of people that want to fool around, I'll say, if that's all they want to do in a relationship, then that's not the kind of relationship both people want. Then you should have told them that from the point. But if you tell them, say, oh, that doesn't matter to me, I just want to spend time with you, but you change down the road, I think that's not telling a person the truth. Does that make sense?
That doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't. Like, like in your past relationships, you probably heard people say they're going to come over, but they never honor that.
They never did.
Yeah, and you probably make your schedule, your time, and then they don't.
And that's wrong and not right.
And do you feel like if you're going to get married, do you feel like being married and living in two separate houses, do you feel like that's a real marriage? Huh?
No, that's not.
No, it's not. It's not a real marriage. Do you feel like if you get married, you should live together and that should be the way it is? Because I feel like if you're still living apart, then you're just either dating or just friends,
They say if you get married, you should live together.
Yeah, and that's what I think too. And I understand, like, things with the state, for instance. Things with the state is hard, but when God was around, and he still is, but when Jesus was around and everything was in, the first life, were there laws, were there papers binded by love?
No.
What did you do?
How is it? Like, you did it, like, by love. Like, if somebody loves each other, it's like, it wasn't no law back then.
Exactly, and I don't think there should be today, honestly. Like, today, like, there's laws, papers that you have to be legally binded. I don't think that's right. If someone loves each other and they just stand up, say they do, they repeat their vows and they go by them and they honor them, that's what I think it should be about. If things don't work out and you get a divorce, yes, but why should there be all this money to get a divorce these days and stuff like that? I think that's really wrong.
It is wrong. I'm saying it is.
It's the way the state is, but like it hurts people in our position with our abilities, that almost makes people think they can't have a regular life.
Yeah.
Tell us about your past relationships.
I'd say I've been in a couple. Now, I haven't been in a lot, but say a long time ago, I was in one. I think I was in Bosse's, and I was dating a girl, but I didn't see it in my eye. I thought she loved me for who I am, but she used me for my stuff. Like, I had like a PS2 back then, I gave it to her.
Okay.
And I gave her like a little iPod, and I gave it to her. Like, I didn't see none of that until my friends told me that I, broke off with her.
Oh, wow.
So, like, in the other relationship I've been in before, like, the person just used me for stuff, like the money, the buyer stuff, and she never really bought me anything.
Wow, that's terrible. That's like what I said. That's not somebody putting the same amount of effort from both of you.
Yeah, and like that. And I live in a group home, so my staff helps me out with everything. And they see me, I was like depressed and sad, so they, talk to me about it and everything.
Do you feel like you get to voice your own opinions where you live?
Yeah, like if they see if I have a problem or if I'm like sad or depressed, they will come to me and I will talk to them.
Well, that's really good. So, what do you think, talking about it and thinking about what has happened in the past, what can you do going forward if you try to be with someone else?
I would say you should see them more, go on a lot of say go on a lot of dates, see what they like, see, and they would ask me what I like, and I would say, and I would ask the person, will we be equal? Will we do the same thing, buy stuff from each other, and all that?
Exactly. And I think you should tell them exactly what you want. Like, if this person is someone that doesn't want to be married in the future, or say you're uncomfortable with having kids in the future, right? You feel like it's not something you can afford or, abide by, if that makes sense,
Yeah,
I think that's
that does
something
make
you should
sense.
talk about immediately, because a lot of people wait until they get to know each other and they're like, oh, I just wanted to ask, is this in your future? That should be something you talk about right away, I think.
And you should.
I think you should be talking about that right away, and that you should tell people like what you want and things like that. And if you know right there, have you ever heard of a red flag?
Yeah, I heard of that.
So if there are even two red flags or even near one in your future, in your relationship, my dad used to tell me as a cop, he was like, run. That's not going to work with you.
And when I do date somebody again, if I see the red flag, I would definitely run.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's not all about fooling around, because there are some people out there that, can't do that. And people need to understand that.
And that's true.
And how many people in the world have had babies, for instance, multiple men, multiple women, and then they don't end up being together? Who does that actually hurt?
I would say the person who has the baby.
It hurts the baby too, because as they grow, they have multiple parents or things like that. And that hurts them. Because that's the other thing a lot of people don't think about. Their happiness is not the only thing that matters. When you have a child, that child becomes your life. Your life changes.
And it does.
And you have to realize that, You got to realize that stuff. Like, some people, like I said, they want a baby so bad, but when they have it, can they really afford it? Can they take it to school? And as it gets older, it comes more and more money. Your voice is not on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're good.
Sorry. I say babies and children are a lot of money.
Do you think that's in your future?
I would say yes if I get like a decent job.
So you'd want to be prepared first. You wouldn't want to just go into it and suddenly have it be a surprise and be like, oh, I'm going to fool around this girl a million times and suddenly there's a surprise.
I will have a plan because I want to get a decent job or support the kid and everything.
Correct. And I think that's a big goal people should look at, because, a lot of people don't think about that. And could it happen by mistake if people have multiple times? That's what people got to realize too. It's not something that can just happen when they want it to.
And that's true.
And that's a big thing I think people don't look into.
People don't. I'm saying people don't.
Is there anything else you wanted to say yourself? Because I asked you on here.
Yeah, I say you covered everything.
Yeah. There's nothing else like you wanted to voice to the people?
Yeah, not really. I say I cover the things I need to say.
Well, I thank you for being on Staying Positive and Moving Forward, and I hope you have a good day.